Well, hello and good morning. I'm Carolyn Fox, filling in for Jeff Kuhner here at Boston's talk station, WRKO. Phone number all morning long is 617-266-6868. I've got to tell you, it's so great to be here. I haven't been on WRKO since the year 2000, and it's so great to be back in Boston. I spent 30 years here in Boston, and I foolishly went and moved to New York to be with my children. And I have to tell you, coming back to Boston is so chill. People are so nice. There are trees. There's grass. It's just a great experience. And thank you for having me. And it's so great to be here today. Hey, today we're going to talk about a new kind of child abuse, if you will. We're going to talk about parents leaving their children in hot cars, okay? Just yesterday, I read a story from Nassau County, Florida, about a woman, 35 years old, who is accused of leaving her child inside a hot car. Her name's Michelle King. She dropped her husband off at work, brought 3 kids along for the ride, okay? So she knew she had 3 kids in the car, including a 6-year-old boy and 18-month-old twins. She returned home. She was really tired. She wanted to take a nap. She forgot one of the twins, a male, in the car, and went back to sleep. While she was sleeping, the 6-year-old happened to go back into the car and found one of the twins. The 6-year-old wakes his mom up. Mom, the baby is in the car. Baby's in the car. You got to call 911. She calls 911. Thank God. This is one of those instances where the kid didn't die. The kid's in stable condition. Thank God. What I want to know is, have you noticed an increase, a sharp increase of parental idiocy around leaving children in cars? Is it me, or has there been a sudden increase in this number of baked children, baked pets, left either by accident or on purpose? I want to hear from you. 617-266-6868. I'm Carolyn Fox, and I'm filling in for Jeff Kuhner here at Boston's talk radio station, WRKO. You know, it's my feeling that the summer is just heating up. I mean, we haven't even begun to the 99-degree temperatures, 100-degree temperatures. And with global warming, we're bound to get there. What is going on with the parenting? Is it the parents are too stressed out? Is it that they're on drugs? Is it that we're multitasking? We're doing too much at once. I have kids. My kids are grown now. My kids are 22 and 24. I have to tell you, there was never a chance in heck that I left a kid in the car. I would never forget my kid was in the car because my kids made so much gosh darn noise. They were always fighting. I never forgot my kids in the car. And I'm also wondering if, I don't know, has this ever happened to you? Have you almost forgot your kid in the car? Or have you ever left a pet in the car by accident? And never mind that. If you were walking around, let's say, the parking lot of Stop and Shop on a hot summer afternoon, like yesterday, for instance, and you saw a kid in the back seat of the car with the window shut or not open enough so the kid can breathe and the kid's looking listless, would you get involved? 617-266-6868. The number again here is 617-266-6868. I'm Carolyn Fox, filling in for Jeff Kuhner here at WRKO. And as I said before, it's so great to be back. Oh, it's the best. So my question is, as I said, would you get involved if you saw a kid looking listless, looking like the kid is suffering from heat stroke? If you were walking around a parking lot, would you find something to break the glass with? I don't know. Maybe I don't know, what you use for pumping up tires or something, or what do they call that thing when you change your tires? A tire jack? A tire jack. A tire iron tire jack? Okay. So would you use something that you had in your own car? Would you get involved? Would you call 911? I can't believe you wouldn't do anything. I remember one time I was at CVS. This was a few years ago when I lived in Boston. I was in West Newton. It was early evening. I had my two blonde Labrador retrievers in the back seat, Lily and Sydney. And I'm a dog fanatic. I'm a pet fanatic, but I happen to really dig dogs. The night was cooling off. It was dusk. I left the windows open in the truck because, like you, I'm really sensitive to the dog's comfort. I left the car for maybe under 5 minutes. Oh, you wouldn't believe what happened. When I came out with the bottled water or the, whatever I had to buy at that particular time, there was a woman standing next to my car with her arms crossed saying, Carolyn, well, she didn't know my name. How dare you? How dare you leave your dogs in the car? I said, lady, it's not that hot out. Never mind, lady. I had the windows open. Oh, my God. I thought she was going to beat me up. She didn't beat me up, but I did make one of those famous Massachusetts hand gestures. You know that one. 617-266-6868. Listen, I know I'm new. And I know I'm new to you. I would love to hear from you. I'm sure there are a couple of people in the radio family here this morning that remember me from the old days or remember me from the other radio stations, the 9 million other radio stations I worked for in Boston. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'd love to hear what you have to say about leaving kids in the car. Do you think it's because parents are stressed?
Is it ever acceptable just to leave them in the car, run into the store, and come back out?
Well, that's a whole other story.
Well, let me throw this scenario at you then.
Okay, dear.
You got a gas station. You know the gas stations with the little island in the middle?
Oh, yeah.
It's all outdoors.
Okay, yeah.
Can you leave your kid in the car and go to the island, pay, it's $10 on number 4, and then walk back?
I wouldn't.
Not even outside when you're literally 10 feet away from the car?
Okay, all right. Okay, you don't have to go inside. You're saying you don't
just walk right to that little island.
I think that's okay if the air conditioning is on. I get a little nervous when we start talking about engines on and children because the kids, if they're not strapped in.
Do you expect me to take the kid out of the car seat, walk 10 feet to the island?
No. If it's 10 feet away, I'm going to cut you some slack, darling. I'll cut you some slack. But it's the parents that either forget that their kids are in the car or leave the kids in the car so they can go get a drink at the bar or go pick up some blow or cocaine or whatever they're picking up. Or,
now you got a bigger problem.
Yeah, no kidding. But these things happen. And I'm asking the radio family today here at WRKO, if you see a kid in the car and the kid is unattended, doesn't that send a bell off? Would you call 911 or would you take care of it yourself? That's what I'd like to know.
One more scenario. One more,
Cooksy.
Because I do this all the time. Not all the time.
Wait a minute. What do you do?
I've done it once in a while.
Okay, what do you do?
You take the kid out of the car, you parked in your driveway.
Yeah.
Strap them in, you buckle them up, and you know how long, that's so frustrating, especially if they're crying, kicking, and screaming.
Yeah, which is what they usually do.
And then you go, I left such and such in the house.
Okay. And it's in your driveway?
You go, Noah, just 1 minute. I'll be right back.
Okay, you know I'm very impatient.
And you run down the driveway, you run in the house, you get what you got to get, you come out of the house, you close the door, you lock it, you run back up the driveway.
Yep.
Leave them in the car, or do you take them back out, walk back in the house?
All right, I'm very clear about this. I have fear of people stealing my babies.
I do too.
Yeah, so I would take the kid out. You know, let's talk to Donna. Let's see what Donna has to say about leaving kids in the car. Hey, Donna. Good morning. I'm Carolyn Fox filling in for Jeff Kuhner. How are you today? We are WRKO.
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
We're having a great time.
Okay, so I was just making the statement that when my daughter was 3 years old, basically what Cooksey was just mentioning, how about if you're at a gas station and the car is within sight? So it wasn't a heat factor. It was the fact that my car was in sight. It was raining out. My 3-year-old, I put her in the car, left her in the car. She was sleeping. I walked 5 seconds away to pay in cash, just something made me look at my vehicle, and there was a gentleman literally trying to get in my car to take my daughter.
No.
So of course I ran. Yeah, of course I ran right to the vehicle.
Oh,
he jumped in the car and sped away. So absolutely, I would not even leave my kid in the car, even in sight.
So he got in his own car and sped away.
Yes, he was right ahead of me, and I noticed when he got in his car, he was done pumping. He kept his car at the pump. He must have noticed that I was walking away. I'm not sure what he was noticing, but I walked away just to pay. Car was in complete sight the whole time, but it was a distance to walk to pay. And sure enough, something made me look as I was paying, and this gentleman was trying to get in the back door of my vehicle to take my daughter.
Oh my God! You must be suffering from post-traumatic.
Well, she's 28 now, and God was good that day to me. And it was pouring out too, so it would be a least expected time that you would ever think that a gentleman or someone would try to get out of their vehicle and go to your vehicle. Right. It was that bad of a day as far as weather goes. So you wouldn't expect someone to even jump out of their car, let alone go to the back of your car and try to take your daughter.
Donna, do you think that child thievery is more prevalent today than it was, let's say, back 28 years ago or 23 years ago? Do you think that people have gotten more funky over the years? Do you think?
Absolutely. Yep. And they're more sick in the sense that they look more normal, I think. They try to blend in more. Whereas back in the day, the creepy old man that maybe smelled with ripped jeans was the guy that would take your child or attempt to, do something. Nowadays, it's your average neighbor. Sometimes it's even a female helping a neighbor take your child. So,
unbelievable. Great
absolutely.
Story. Great story. Thank you so much for calling, Donna. You're a doll. Thank you. We're going to go to Mark right now. Hello, Mark. You're on the Carolyn Fox Show. We're filling in for Jeff Kuhner today here at WRKO.
Hey, Carolyn. Good morning.
Dude.
Well, I remember you back from Providence.
Oh, my God. I know. Did we have a ball back there?
Oh, yeah. You and Rudy? Oh, yeah.
Me and Rudy Cheeks. That's right. It was great fun. Great fun in the sun.
Hey, listen, I'm going into the tunnel, so I might lose you, but people that leave their kids in their cars should be thrown in jail.
I agree.
Because I have two about your age.
Yep.
I've never, and my life's pretty stressful.
Yeah.
Believe me.
God help you.
That's all I wanted to say because I got to go make a delivery. But it was nice hearing you on the radio.
Oh, so nice hearing you, too. Thank you so much for calling, Mark.
All right, bye-bye.
The funny part of this story is that fathers, actually, it's not even that funny. Fathers are more likely to, by accident, leave their kids in the car because in some cases, and historically, it wasn't really the fathers who were the child rearers, if you will. They did fewer of the domestic chores. They were the ones that went out and earned the money, and the women were typically left home with the children. So if a father was taking care of the kid, it was out of his daily routine, and that's one of the things that experts would say would be a leading cause for forgetting that you had a kid in the car. How about those people who leave the kids on the top of the car? Okay? All right? So you have enough presence of mind to take the kid and the car seat out of the car. You put it up on the roof. Please don't even go there because I'm afraid of heights. I would be afraid that the kid would fall off the car. But, so yeah, and then, they just leave. I mean, really? But things like this happen. Things like this happen, and I'd love to hear from you. 617-266-6868. I want to know if you were just walking around and you saw a child in the back seat of a car, you know how quickly a car heats up. So let's say it's 80 degrees on the outside. I think it's like under 3 minutes that the car heats up to 110. And if the temperature is 90, it can go as high as 170 in under 3 minutes also. So you're talking about a real quick heat stroke situation. And we're talking about kids with small bodies. Let's take Dave. Hey, Dave, you're on the Carolyn Fox Show. We're filling in for Jeff Kuhner here at Boston's talk radio station, WRKO. Hello.
Hi, Carolyn. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm having a large day. How about you?
I'm having a fun time.
Good.
At 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. So now, are you a parent?
Yes. Well, I'm 62. I'm retired. I had 3 kids.
Yeah.
And let me say this.
Okay.
I can't understand how busy people can be and just forget about their kids in the car. I was a clerk in a little peach store in the town I live in, and I had a woman come in at 10:30 at night, and she was scratching tickets, and, she kept going to the door, looking out. I was like, is there something wrong? And she said, well, my kid's sleeping in the car. I said, well, what are you in here scratching lottery tickets? I mean, she was in there for a half an hour.
She was?
Yeah. And I said, you know how easy it would be for somebody to pull up and just... She left the car running.
Right. Oh, my God.
Because it was a hot night.
Right.
I was like...
Well, that was nice of her. At least she left the air conditioning on. Yeah.
And then I remember the story, I think it was about maybe 5 or 6 years ago, that this person was driving down Route 128 with the baby in the baby seat on top of the roof.
Oh, my God. See what I mean? See, this is what I'm talking about. I'm wondering if that people are just so self-centered and all they think about is themselves. Or maybe in the instance of the woman who was scratching tickets, maybe did she appear that she was straight? Who knows? Who knows? Maybe people are so stressed out about money. Maybe they're just, I don't know, too much texting that they forget about everything else, or they're on Facebook. Anyway, I think that any parent who forgets their kids in their car needs to forget about being a parent. Hey, Jeff, you're on WRKO. How are you today? Jeff?
Hello?
Hey, Jeff, it's Carolyn Fox. What's going on?
It's Chuck. I'm sorry. Not Jeff.
Oh, okay. Chip?
Yes.
Thanks, Chip. So tell me, have you ever...
I agree with you, Carolyn. There is absolutely no excuse in the entire universe to leave your child on your car. These parents are irresponsible, don't deserve to be parents, and they are so self-centered, they forget about the world, whether it's drugs or they're just irresponsible. It has nothing to do with stress. They're just totally irresponsible. And another thing about leaving your child in the car to run back in the house is another no excuse accepted, because it only takes a 15 seconds for a nut to come and get your child.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't care if it's sitting in your driveway. Do not ever leave your son or daughter in your car. There's too many nuts in the world.
Did you hear our earlier caller when the woman called and told us that 28 years ago she was getting gas and she was 10 feet away?
I see this in front of Cumberland Farms all the time. I see parents leave their kids and their child by the pumping gas and run into the store. And I say, you're afraid to say anything to them because, God forbid, because they'd be calling the cops that you're, trying to do something to them, So people tend to shut up. But these people are irresponsible and have no right to be parents at all. With that cookie I heard say, I ran back into the house when I left my child in the car.
I beg your pardon?
Was that Cooksey that I heard say?
Yeah, that was Cooksey. That was Cooksey saying that he would go. He forgot something upstairs and he left the kid in the car.
I'm sorry, Cooksey, but that's not an excuse. You take the child out of the car seat, don't be lazy, and bring him into the house or her into the house because there's too many nuts watching those kind of things.
Yeah, well, if you saw a kid in the car, my question to you in the radio family would be, would you say something? Would you get involved? We're going to be right back. I'm Carolyn Fox. Our number here is 617-266-6868. And we're going to talk about kids baking in cars, dogs baking in cars here at WRKO. Hey, I'm Carolyn Fox. It's 6:28 in the morning. It's Thursday, and we're lightening things up here at WRKO because we know you're on vacation. We hope you're on vacation. We did get a text a little while ago from a police officer for over 20 years. He says to us, Carolyn, I can't tell you. I've had dead bodies in the car for days, and nobody's called. You leave a pet in the car, and we get 50 calls. Oh, my gosh. Is that the key? Is it that if you leave a pet in the car, the pets get more attention than the kids? People like their pets more than their kids? We'll answer that question coming up here at WRKO as we continue. Hello. And good morning. I'm Carolyn Fox. I'm filling in for Jeff Kuhner here at Boston's talk radio station, WRKO. And it's so great to have you with us. Today we're talking about leaving children in hot cars. And in many instances, so far we've had 16 this year, kids dead in the car because for whatever reason, parents either forgot about these kids or deliberately left these kids in the car. We have Tony on the phone. Tony, thanks for calling WRKO.
Hi, Caroline. Hey, when my kids were small, when we used to go out and run errands, I made sure they got out of the car and came in with me everywhere. It taught them manners, taught them how to deal with people because people would talk to you. And it's kind of interesting now with my grandkids. It's kind of a little different. When I have with them, they'll say to me, do we have to come in, Papa? And I'll always go, yes, you do. And this is the one that kills me. They'll say, if we behave, do we get a prize? And I say, if you don't behave, you're going to be punished. How's that?
Are these grandkids your daughter's kids or your son's kids?
Yes, I have 7 grandchildren so far.
Yep.
And I have one daughter who is beautiful with it. Mm-hmm. My oldest daughter, I don't know what happened. She's out on planet who knows where. And we just had 4 of her kids for the week. And I'll tell you, it's there's a lot of discipline missing. I don't know what happened, but it happens with all families, I guess. But I always enjoy taking the kids out. And, we're too fast-paced now. You take the kids out, you take the time, you bring them in, and it's enjoyable.
Of course, it's wonderful. It's why we're here on the planet, is to have love and share our love with our family and friends. Have you talked to your older daughter about this? Have you said, hey, daughter, come on now, step up to the plate. These kids don't have manners. They think that they're going to get a prize if they behave well. Tell me more about that. Okay, don't. All right, Paul, you're on the Carolyn Fox Show as we're filling in for Jeff Kuhner here at Boston's talk station, WRKO.
Hi, Carolyn. I'm Paul from Stoughton. We knew each other in the 80s. I was your joke of the day guy.
You were the joke of the day guy. Well, do you have a joke for me?
No, probably not one I can say on this station.
Yeah, exactly. So Paul, tell me about your thoughts on parents leaving kids in the car.
Yeah, that's just insane to me. I can't imagine that. I really don't have an issue with, you forgot something in the house and you got to run back in and, to unstrap the kids and all that. But to leave them in a parking lot at a store, or that one that was the woman scratching tickets peeking out the window, give me a break.
Yeah. What do you think should be done with these parents?
Definitely some serious punishment.
If the kid dies, should the parent be sent to jail for life?
Well, yeah. Oh, the kid dies, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Do you think parents should have to have a license to be parents? It's so easy to breed. It's so easy to make a baby, but the hard part comes when that baby is born.
It's almost coming to that point that there should be a license.
I think so. I think that's the answer. I think that, and not only get the license, you should have to check in and have continuing education, just like you would, let's say, with a driver's license. I think that's the solution. Because parents don't know how to parent anymore. And it's getting worse and worse because it's going generation to generation. Now, I don't know. Yep, you go.
No, that's it. When parents want to be their kids' friends, there's no more discipline, there's no more nothing. I mean, you can go way beyond what the topic is with the way kids are being brought up today.
You're exactly right. And Paul, thank you for calling. I'm Carolyn Fox, filling in for Jeff Kuhner here at Boston's talk station, WRKO. Our phone number is 617-266-6868, 266-6868. How about that dude? How about that dude in Georgia? What was his name? Harris. Ross Harris. Now, there's a guy who allegedly left his kid in the car on purpose. I'd like to know where the mother was in on this. I've been reading story after story. They haven't convicted her yet or brought her in. But, man, does she sound like she had a part of this or what?
I heard she had no emotions when they told her.
Well, she could have been stunned. I'm wondering if it was about the 2 life insurance policies that they had, which totaled about $27,000, which in this day and age, ladies and gentlemen, is chump change. But I'm wondering if money was the cause of this. And if they find out that the parents are guilty, they're not going to get the money anyway. These people are just plain old dumb, stupid, desperate, mentally ill. I don't know. So, a few days ago, a friend of mine sent me a video. Were you able to post it on Facebook? Okay, I'm going to have to send it to the folks in the studio. It was an advertisement video, like a entertainment type commercial, an infomercial, if you will. Girls were about to break into a car in a parking lot, but they did it for the best reason possible. They were walking through a parking lot. They find that they need to get the car door open to rescue what's inside. It's not their car. Cars are insured, but vandalism is against the law. However, coming to the rescue of a dog is not a crime. Isn't that great? I would love it if you could post that ad on the WRKO Facebook page. So it's so unbelievable. Make the hair on your arms stand up. These young girls made a decision to not only call the police, but simultaneously break the glass of the window because they saw the dog listless in the back seat. I'm making a statement right now, ladies and gentlemen, that if you see a pet or a human being that's suffering, take matters into your own hands, break that window, and deal with the legal repercussions later. I don't know how people can walk by and say they don't want to get involved. That's one of the larger problems, I think, of our society. There are not enough people who have the guts to get involved. I don't know about you. I could not walk by an automobile and see an animal in distress without finding something in my trunk to bash that window open, calling 911. I wouldn't wait to call 911. Do you know there's only one state in our country, Tennessee, where you can legally break into somebody's car if you're doing something to save another person's life or an animal's life? The Good Samaritan law. Tennessee, of all places. We don't have laws like that here in Massachusetts. But would it really matter? 266-6868, 617-266-6868. I'm Carolyn Fox, filling in for Jeff Kuhner here at Boston's talk station, WRKO. Hello, Gary.
Good morning. How are you?
Oh, I'm just dandy. So what are your thoughts on...
Listen, I mean, there is a major parenting problem in this country, but licensing is the last thing we need. And
why do you say that? Why do you say that, Gary?
Because here's the thing. What happens, it becomes another bureaucratic problem. What happens if we license and they don't go to these classes and they don't do what they're supposed to do? How are we going to chase? Now we've got to get people involved in chasing them down to come to these classes. I mean, there's definitely classes of parenting courses needed, but I'm not sure that's the answer. It's just going to become a nightmare.
I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you, Gary. But what else can we do? I mean, are the kids learning how to be parents when they're in high school? Because the parenting isn't taking place. The good parenting is not taking place at home anymore.
And honestly, I wish I had the answer. I don't have the answer, but I just look at it saying, I'm listening to it first, great concept, then I start thinking about it saying, here we go again, we're going to be chasing people around trying to get them to do what we do, as we do with a lot of different things. And, how we teach parenting is a difficult thing now, and I think you're 100% right. It's generational, and as these generations go on, they just keep losing it. Kids have no concept. I have witnessed people walking away and leaving someone in a car and had said something to them and
good.
Told them, mind my business. Obviously, they went back and took the child out and walked away. But, there's a lot of things going on in this country where common sense is gone and there's a lack of, to me, it all stems from over the years, that lack of accountability and letting people get away with things. And, but I'm just not sure. My point is, I'm not sure licensing is the issue.
Okay, well, I appreciate your call. And again, I hear what Gary's saying. Who wants to get into the bureaucracy of all of it? But where are people going to learn? Where are people going to start behaving accountable for rearing children? It's an issue that is quite troubling. We're talking now, we're going to twist the conversation a little bit to animals. Animals, if you saw an animal in a hot car just practically on its last leg, would you get involved? Would you break the glass open? Would you take matters in your own hand? Would you think that you're a vigilante? Would you be afraid that you'd get in trouble? Mike, welcome to the Carolyn Fox Show, as we fill in for Jeff Kuhner here, WRKO.
Good morning, Carolyn.
Hello.
I go back. This argument has gone back thousands of years. Plato, laws don't do much to make good people do good things and don't do much to prevent bad people from doing bad things. And it really comes down to that. That it's the perfect society is the one that doesn't need laws or government at all. Because if you're perfectly moral, you don't need laws.
But humans aren't like that, Mike.
Humans can be like that, and we were a lot more like that 100 years ago, even more so 150 years ago because of religion. That's how our country got started. So morality has to be based on something. And liberalism is moral relativism, which has shifted us to having the government dictate morality. It doesn't work.
Very interesting point. You know, I don't disagree when it comes to especially children. I am not what we say the most religious person. I did send my kids to a parochial school, if you will, because I wanted their morals to be just based on the book. If you need to know right and wrong, go to the book. That's what I just felt that way. So I don't disagree with you either. I really appreciate the call, Mike.
Okay.
And not that religion is going to answer all the parenting questions, but if you need to know right and wrong, at least it's a reference point, if you know what I mean. All right, so we're straying from the topic a little bit. I just sent up a photo or a video of two girls breaking into a car, not because they wanted to steal something from the car, but it was a hot day. And they took matters into their own hands because they saw a dog in the backseat of the car, listless and half dead. So the dog was saved. The girls were not arrested. And it wasn't even Tennessee, where it is legal to break into a car. I really wouldn't know how to break into a car, frankly. But would you break into a car? Would you set yourself up for maybe a little hassle with the law to save a dog's life or a pet's life or a kid's life? We are WRKO. I'm Carolyn Fox. The phone number all morning long is 617-266-6868. Hello and good morning. I'm Carolyn Fox. I know, a different voice. I'm filling in for Jeff Kuhner here at Boston's talk station, WRKO. Number 617-266-6868. And we're talking about kids being left in cars, either on purpose or by accident. Pets left in cars by accident or on purpose. Would you get involved? Bill, thanks for calling the Carolyn Fox Show here at WRKM.
I had the thing with the dog in the car just a day or two ago in the supermarket parking lot.
Oh, what happened?
I came out, and there's the dog clearly in distress inside the locked car. The window was open maybe a quarter of an inch. I was really bothered by it. Normally, I'm not really that bothered by stuff like that, but this one really bothered me. I called inside to the supermarket.
Right.
And said, announce over the loudspeaker that there's a dog in distress in the neighborhood, out in the parking lot.
Yeah.
And a minute or two later, the lady came out, and she was angry at me because apparently she had received when they said, dog in distress in the parking lot, and they gave her a plate number, and she came out. But apparently she got some comments from some fellow shoppers that she was rushing out to, come out and let the dog have some air.
She should.
And, she was so mad at me because
she was mad at you.
That the other shoppers were became like an angry mob for her.
Well, I hope she never does it again, and that dog should be taken away from her. Just out of curiosity, what kind of dog was it?
It was a little peekapoo or something. Oh. I would never break a window in someone else's car.
You wouldn't, though?
Dog. I would never do that.
Why is that?
I can't. I just wouldn't. I would call the police. I would call the manager of the store.
Yeah.
I would try to do something, but I would never break a window.
Oh, well, thank you for calling, Bill. Thanks for sharing your thoughts. I'd totally break a window, but that's the kind of lady I am. I'm probably going to end up dead because somebody's going to punch me in the face. Wendy, you're on the Carolyn Fox Show here at WRKO. Good morning.
Good morning, Carolyn. Your story struck a nerve with me because the exact same thing happened to me a couple of years ago. I pulled into a Home Depot parking lot up to next to a truck that had a window open just a crack with two little Shih Tzus inside. And I noted that it was a really, really hot day and that it must have been even hotter inside. So I went in to the store and asked the clerk at the service desk to make an announcement so the person could come out to their dogs. And about 45 minutes later, when I left the store, the truck was still there and both dogs were now on the floor. And one of them, their tongue was hanging out. So I called the police, and the police came, and they were finally able to find the owner. The guy came out, and he denied being in there more than 5 minutes. Of course, it had been over an hour. And the same thing happened. The mob kind of got angry at the guy for doing that to his dogs, and the police thanked me, and I feel like I probably saved the dog's life.
Oh, my God, what a great story. What a great ending to that story. And again, that guy has no business having 2 Shih Tzus.
I totally agree. And the police told him he could have been arrested and those dogs could have been taken away from him. And he acted like he didn't know, and, he was only going to be in there for 5 minutes. But why people bring their pets with them shopping is beyond me, and just to leave them in their cars. But, I would do it again, and now knowing that I could take matters into my own hands and break the window, I probably would.
God bless you. You're my kind of lady. All right, we've got Mark on the line here at WRKO.
Good morning.
Hey,
I'm a police officer, and most departments have animal control officers that handle that stuff. Probably 90% of the calls we get on that topic are that they go and the dog's not in distress. Some people take exception to dogs being in the car. The animal control officer shows up, the windows are down, it's really not that hot of a day. And if you start getting into breaking other people's windows, I think you just said it right. Sooner or later, you're going to have another problem. Carolyn is going to take exception to it, and then you wind up in a fight, or you wind up getting beaten up, and then it's a whole other issue. But
Mark, you're saying as a police officer, you're saying that we as lay people are how should we put it, getting overexcited every time we see a pet in the car. So you're saying quite the opposite of what I'm talking about. You're saying that people are too quick to the trigger, too quick to call the police department to help dogs that aren't in distress.
Not all in all cases, but most that I've seen, that's the case. And like I said, some people just take exception to, even if it's a 70-degree or a 75-degree day, we get calls that there's an animal in a car, and it's not that big of a deal. There's nothing illegal about having your pet in the car. Of course, if it's 90 degrees out and it's 100 degrees in the car, you're going to hurt the animal. That's a different issue. But most of the time, there's no problem. The animal control officer goes, and the dog's fine, and like you said earlier, sooner or later, someone's going to get punched because you broke a window, and now you're liable. There's nothing in the law that says you can go around breaking windows because you think the dog may be in distress. It just doesn't work that way.
I know. I'm awful that way. I'm like a little vigilante. Let's talk to Richard. Hi, Richard. You're on the Carolyn Fox Show here at WRKO.
Good morning.
Hi.
Hey, good topic. Listen. The first thing that people tend to forget is that our founding fathers intended us to be as close to anarchy as possible. In other words, small government, whether it be leaning to the left or to the right, but very close to anarchy. We weren't supposed to have sessions 24 hours a day, and the senators weren't supposed to get paid, or any part of Congress. But so each time we make a law, we take away a freedom. There's already a regulation, as may be. Okay, so it's not going, and that's not going to fix it anyway. So that's only going to get good people in trouble. And
Oh, Richard, darling, we're out of time. We have to take care of a little bit of business here. Thank you so much for calling. We are coming up to, we are at 7 o'clock here at WRKO. I'm Carolyn Fox, filling in for Jeff Kuhner. And soon we're going to be talking about, a letter I got in the mail that just made me flip about Obamacare. Okay? So that's coming up here at WRKO.
News at the top and bottom, talk in between.
Executing assigned host duties flawlessly because I can't do wrong.
This is AM 680 WRKO, Boston.
Good morning. How are you? I'm Carolyn Fox. Thanks for being with us here at WRKO. Hey, I'm filling in for Jeff Kuhner, who's on vacation, that lucky dog. You're listening to Boston's talk station, WRKO. Our number all morning long is the same number it always is. But if you're new to the show, it's 617-266 617-266-6868. 617-266-6868. All right, we're taking a departure from, let's say, hardcore politics, talking about Obama and the border, talking about Israel and the Palestinians. We have time when Jeff comes back to talk about that serious stuff. But I am going to speak to one topic, and I'm wondering if you can relate to this. I have a secret for you. Don't tell anybody. I can't stand Obama. I can't stand him. He has ruined my life. Let me tell you how. Okay? I was a self-employed businesswoman. I live in New York City recently. I moved there to be with my children. I have been in Boston for, 30, 40 years, and I love Boston, blah, blah, blah. So I moved to New York, and I bought a health insurance policy years ago through a company called Oxford Health, which is a division of United Healthcare. I want to ask you, before I get into the details of the letter that they sent me, has the Affordable Care Act, has Obamacare helped you or hurt you? Okay? That's the big question. Listen to this. Here's the letter. I almost fell on the floor. Dear valued customer, we're writing to let you know about important changes to your health insurance that will take effect on January 1st, 2014. To make sure our policies include new requirements, your existing policy will end, and you'll have to purchase a new policy with new premium rates upon renewal 2014. Well, isn't that lovely? So much for, if you like your plan, you can keep your plan. Well, really, who the hell likes their insurance plan to begin with? I'd like my insurance plan if they actually paid for something. Really? Swear to God this happened. Submitted $24,000 worth of bills. After many back and forth emails, letters, doctor's notes, I got $1,000 back on $24,000. You know how much I pay for my health insurance? I'm a single woman in my 50s. I like to say to my radio family friends, I'm around 50. I pay $785 a month. Okay? And I'll tell you why in just a few minutes. So, not only can I not keep my plan now, but now I'm no longer eligible for a group plan because the new law says if I don't have employees, I can't buy a group plan. So now I have to buy what's called an individual plan. And that in and of itself isn't so bad. Let's see what that means. We're going to continue here. Okay? So what's changing? You can't make this stuff up, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking about Obamacare if you're just tuning in, okay? I have a plan because I have a rare blood disorder, okay? I have to have specialists, and I use the specialists here in Boston, even though I live in New York, because the doctors and specialists in the hospitals here are 10 times better than the New York hospitals, doctors, etc., okay? The huge thing, the huge change about my health insurance plan, no more out-of-network coverage. Can you believe it? I'm paying a freaking fortune for my health insurance. $785 for a single woman. I have one medical condition that requires that I go out of network to get help. As of January 1st, 2015, there is no out-of-network coverage for any plan in the state of New York. None. And the reason for that is because the insurance companies, in response to the Affordable Care Act, said, hey, shoot, now we have to cover all these conditions. The last thing we're going to do is give people a chance to use doctors out of network. We're going to screw it. We're going to just twist it and just make it miserable for the consumer. Now, don't get me wrong. I believe that, yes, everyone in our country should have some health insurance. I believe that. There should be a standard policy to cover our basic needs. And from my standpoint, my opinion is, yeah, I'm thrilled that the Affordable Care Act helps people who otherwise wouldn't have health insurance because they can't afford it or because they have a pre-existing condition. You have no idea. I used to be in the health insurance business for 13 years. That's why I haven't been on the radio, because I had this thriving health insurance business for self-employed people and individuals. And then when the Affordable Care Act came to be, Obama and I were competing for the same customers. But what people didn't know is that, yeah, they might be able to get a health plan with their pre-existing conditions, but the network of doctors that accepted these plans was about five doctors, if you're lucky, in the whole country take these ridiculous plans. And there was such a hot mess, an administrative hot mess. You know, it was a hot mess when you had to sign up. I still can't figure out how to sign up on the Affordable Care Act or the Obamacare website in New York. So my question to you is, have you been helped or have you been hurt by the Affordable Care Act? I know in New York, there's no out-of-network coverage anymore. I did some research yesterday, which, when I went onto the Massachusetts Health Connector, it looked like you guys still have an option to buy PPOs, preferred provider organization, type of health insurance, so you can go to any doctor, any hospital. I would love to hear from you. I'd love to know if your premium went up or down because of Obamacare, if your quality of coverage went up or down. The number's 266-6868. If you're calling from many other states, it's 617-266-6868, 617-266-6868. Mark, welcome to the Carolyn Fox Show. We're filling in for Jeff Kuhner here at Boston.
Wrong caller, Carolyn. It's Kiki, the nurse.
Kiki. Oh, Kiki.
You remember me?
Wait a minute, Kiki. That
Kiki
name sounds...
the nurse. I used to call your show in Rhode Island.
Oh, my God. I totally...
And I couldn't believe it. I talk about health care. I was on my way to the hospital. I have a shift coming up.
Okay.
And I heard your voice, and I said to myself, oh, my God, I've died and gone to heaven.
Oh.
Because we have heard, everybody in the community, if you get my drift.
Yes.
We had heard that you married well and moved to another planet.
Well, I did marry well a couple of times.
And
but...
had alien babies.
Yeah,
but in any case.
Yes.
Darling, I cannot believe it, and I just want people to know, if they don't know, this woman had the best show on radio, the funniest, the most informative. She did these wonderful practical jokes. She had people on, and Barney Frank used to call up.
That's right.
Your manager was a hoot. I think his name was Morty Handelman.
He was. That's right.
German guy, your sidekick, Rudy. This woman had a show that was better than anything on radio, better than Howard Stern, better than anything.
Oh, you are such a sweetheart,
And
Kiki.
I want to tell you this, too, on a serious note.
Yes, dear.
Before, when gay rights was on a back burner.
On a back burner.
And when gay marriage was nothing more than a parlor game.
A parlor game, yes.
A pretty wonderful parlor game, but a parlor game nonetheless. This woman was an advocate for gay rights.
Yeah.
Her phones were open to gay people. She personally helped people out. She was absolutely wonderful.
Wow,
and if you don't know, right now you're listening to an absolute legend, media legend. I believe, weren't you elected into the Rhode Island Radio Hall of Fame a couple of years ago?
Yes, the Radio Hall of Fame, exactly.
So dear, I'm a little bit late. I'd love to talk to you more about health care, and I hope you're there forever. I hope you're back, and I am just absolutely thrilled to hear your voice.
Thank you, Kiki. Thank you very much for calling. We've got Steve on the line. Hi, Steve. You're on the Carolyn Fox Show here at WRKO.
How you doing, Carolyn?
I'm okay. I get so pissed off, though, Steve.
I'll tell you, thanks for bringing back the pain of yesterday. I have my own business, and so I pay for private health care. And my wife just told me yesterday that starting next year, my premiums are going up $150 a month.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah,
yep. See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? What kind of work do you do, Steve?
I'm a distributor of food products.
Oh, that's what my dad did. Roger Williams Foods for years. Years!
It's ridiculous that the responsible, have to take care of the irresponsible. And we're not talking about people who need help and, who through whatever, reason. We're talking about people who, quite frankly, just won't produce because, they feel that they're owed something, and we have to take care of them because this idiot in the White House is, the first victim,
Yeah. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. I really appreciate the call, and I can completely relate to where that gentleman was coming from. My premium is also going up $100 and some odd per month, and my coverage is going down. John, hello there. You're on the Carolyn Fox Show here at WRKO. How can I help you?
Good morning. How are you?
I'm having a great day. What's going on?
I'm with you on the healthcare thing, but you lost me a few minutes ago.
What?
You said you were in the health insurance business for a while.
Yes.
Now, the pre-existing thing, as you're aware, New York and almost every state, I believe, I think it's all 50, have prudent person wording with regard to pre-existing conditions. So
has what? Has what? I couldn't hear.
They have state legislation regarding prudent person wording, it's called. And it's specific to pre-existing conditions. So if you get diagnosed with a condition on May 1st and you don't have insurance, and then you go to get a policy, the state law would preclude the insurance company from denying you because a prudent person seeks out care, and that's what you did. Now, if you waited, if you got diagnosed in May and someone came to see you and you said, hey, you have a 6-month waiting period for these conditions, and then you left and came back 6 months later and didn't seek medical treatment for that condition, prudent person wording would exclude that pre-existing.
Well, I have never, in 13 years,
I don't mean to be disrespectful, Carolyn.
That's okay.
I don't mean to be disrespectful. If this is the first you're ever hearing of prudent person wording,
I'm going to look it up.
It's a problem in this country. Just like when they said babies with pre-existing conditions, congenital conditions, and congenital meaning a child born with a condition, I have never been considered pre-existing. It's against the law in every state in the union. So babies were never excluded for birth conditions. That's absurd. And it's untrue.
You know what? It's not untrue. I was darling, I was in the business for 13 years. I had licenses all over the country.
Business, actually.
Okay.
I'll tell you off the air, I work for a major company out of New York City in Manhattan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I'm a consultant for them. I have been with them for over 20 years.
I'm just saying.
Now, go to the New York State legislation right now and look up person wording.
Could you just don't raise your voice, please, sir?
I'm not raising my voice. I'm driving in my car, so I apologize. My air conditioning is going.
Okay. So I don't know where the disconnect is because in states like Florida, Texas, California, Tennessee, if you had a hangnail, you couldn't get insurance. I don't care. This was before the Affordable Care Act.
That is so untrue. That's just not true. Every single state has its own insurance commissioner. They all have separate regulations. To use your example of Florida, for instance, insurance companies have to cover massage therapy in Florida. They don't in other states. Sell products.
Maybe in the last year there, John. Maybe in the last year, but not before that.
No, they've had to cover massage therapy in the state of Florida if you want to sell a policy.
All right. So let me
over 15 years.
Darling, maybe, yes, there is a high risk pool in every state. Okay? So maybe that's what you're alluding to. So what you're saying is, yes, everyone has to be given health insurance, but if you're a kid with a pre-existing condition or you have diabetes and you can't, yes, there's a high risk pool in most states, but the high risk pool the policies are through the roof, thousands of dollars a month for a single person.
So you're talking about individual policies? Or
yes, I'm talking about individual policies because group policies...
Like the old Mega Life catastrophic policies that went away, like those.
Like those, or like a United Healthcare or Blue Cross Blue Shield. There are self-employed people, individuals who were the ones that were most screwed over by this new legislation.
The things, again, the state insurance commissioners made certain in every state that these things didn't occur. Now, if somebody doesn't have insurance for a year and they have high blood pressure and they opt not to take their medicine, okay, or they just pay cash for it because they think they're going to get around a waiting period. Insurance companies, see, the administration in Washington is accomplishing their mission because you've been demonizing insurance companies for 20 minutes, and you obviously have a very strong negative opinion of the insurance industry.
You better believe I do. Well, yeah, I do, yeah.
All right, so that's my point, but that's wrong. That's misdirected anger. It's not the insurance companies who behooves them to keep their customers satisfied. They want to bring in premium. They have to have a profit-loss ratio. They have to make money.
I understand that. They can make a reasonable...
If you need $1 million stay in the hospital, they have the money to pay it.
All right. You know what, John? We're going to have to talk off the air.
We can talk off the air, but
because
not true what you're saying. Look up prudent person. Look up congenital pre-existing condition.
Prudent person. I'm going to be a prudent person and go to Charlie right now here at WRKO.
Good morning, Carolyn. You know what? I was one of your customers.
You were?
Yes, up on the North Shore here.
Oh, Charlie. I know I don't want you to say your last name on the radio, but I typically remember all my customers. Thank you for being a customer, and thank you for calling the Carolyn Fox Show as we fill in for Jeff Kuhner this week at WRKO. So
now I know what happened to you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, so this is what happened. My business was single-handedly decimated by Obama. So there's no love lost there. I had this great little business. I helped self-employed people and like artists, musicians, plumbers, electricians, try to get affordable health care that made business sense. And people could go to any doctor, any hospital, pay a deductible, and the policy would pay 100% after that. No more, ladies and gentlemen. No more.
Right. You know, my premium, I think back then was like $700 something
for the family.
Just my wife and I. Now my premium is $1,300.
Oh my dear. And what do you have for coverage now, Charlie?
I think it's a higher deductible, but we have coverage for things we don't need. Like my wife's 55 years old, and we have maternity and other stuff.
I agree. I totally agree, Charlie. I totally agree with what you're saying. On my new, thank you, darling. Thank you for calling. Charlie makes a great point about having a policy where you have to have certain benefits on your plan that you don't even use. I'm 53 years old. Yeah, I need infertility. Really? Do I have to pay for that? Hey, we're going to talk a little bit more about these crazy health insurance plans here at WRKO. Back after these. Good morning. Carolyn Fox here, filling in for Jeff Kuhner here at Boston's talk station, WRKO. We're talking about Obamacare. And the reason we're talking about it is, I know it sounds so much like yesterday's news, but we're still, excuse me, I just got a letter from United Healthcare. It's really called Oxford in New York. United Healthcare saying that I am forced at the end of the year to change my policy to one of these Affordable Care Act plans. And the reason I'm up in arms is because I now will have no out-of-network coverage. And my doctors here in Boston won't take my New York insurance anymore because the New York insurance companies won't cover out-of-network benefits. So not only is my premium going up $100 a month to $785, $885 a month, ladies and gentlemen, my coverage is being diminished. So I was wondering if the same thing is happening to you. Okay? I was wondering if you're getting bent over by your insurance company here in Massachusetts and paying more money. We got to take a quick little break. We'll be back talking to Dick, and I mean that, in just a few minutes here at WRKO. Hello. Good morning. I hope you're having a nice Thursday. It's 7:35 here at WRKO and probably where you are as well. I'm Carolyn Fox filling in for Jeff Kuhner here at WRKO. Our phone number is 617-266-6868, 617-266-6868. I would love to hear from you about whether or not, since the Affordable Care Act went into full swing here, has your coverage here in Massachusetts gotten better, worse? Your health insurance coverage, better, worse? Has it become more expensive, or has it gotten cheaper for you? I just got a letter from Oxford Health, which is United Healthcare, New York style, that my premium is going up $100 and I have no out-of-network coverage. Not only that, listen to what's covered on these plans. I'm a 53-year-old, actually, I'm around 50, and this is what's covered on my plan, among other things. Infertility, because there's, well, would I ever use infertility at 50? Of course I'm infertile, but would I think of having a kid at 53? I don't think so. Why am I paying for abortion? Why am I paying for early termination on my policy? I can't get pregnant anymore. Why am I paying for that? Why do you have to pay for that? Why can't we tailor these policies for, things that are more fitting to our age? Diabetes equipment. Don't even get me going on diabetes. In so many instances, that's a preventable disease. In so many instances. Why do I have to pay extra on my health insurance policy for somebody who smokes? Don't even go there. Why do I have to pay for drug abuse treatment in pregnancy? I'm all for everybody having coverage. I get it. I'm thrilled that people with pre-existing conditions can now get coverage. I'm thrilled that those who are financially challenged can get coverage and be subsidized. I got it. But I'm getting bent over and hit in the face twice. And I'm wondering if that's happening to you. I'm wondering if you are paying more for health insurance, and particularly the self-employed and individuals in our radio family today. Are you paying more and getting less coverage? I know that when I lived in Massachusetts 4 years ago, there was Romney Care, and Romney Care was in effect, and it was fine. I was all for it, because who wouldn't want the poor and children to have health insurance? The good thing, though, is if you paid in Massachusetts, you could still get a PPO. If you wanted it, and you were self-employed, you could still get that stellar coverage. In New York, you can't get that anymore.
Well, I think Romney Care and Obamacare were completely unnecessary.
Well, why? Well, no, I think something had to be done.
About what?
Well, something had to be done about the people who are uninsured.
Not a complete government takeover.
Well, I agree with you. I agree. But I think that everybody in our country should have a modicum, like a standard health insurance policy, where the basics are covered. And if you want a little bit more, you should be able to, just like everything else, life isn't fair. If you have a couple of bucks or you have a pre-existing condition, which means that you have to go to doctors out of state, if you can pay for it, or you get some coverage if you pay a little bit more. Supplemental coverage is where it's at. But now I'm paying $100 more. I'm up to $885 a month. And anytime I see a doctor here in in Boston, I don't get any relief. Any relief. And on that letter that I got from United Healthcare, listen to this. You're going to faint when I tell you this. Look at this. You know how they have these metallic plans? Platinum, gold, silver, bronze. Check this one out. If you have a bronze plan, it's what we call a 60-40 plan. You pay 40%, the insurance company pays 60. Silver plan, the insurance company pays 70, you pay 30. Gold, 80-20, platinum, 90-10. Listen to this little caveat, little note. This does not mean that your insurance company will pay that specific percentage on every bill. It simply means that the insurance company will pay that average percentage for all policyholders over the course of the year. Well, how the hell am I supposed to know if I'm part of the average? 80-20 is 80-20. The insurance company pays 80, I pay 20. It's not going to be spread out over everyone who bought that plan. Give me a freaking break. Perry, you're on the Carolyn Fox Show here at WRKO.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing awesome. We're filling in for Jeff Kuhner here today. What's going on? Do you have an experience with health insurance or any opinion?
Yeah, I think Obamacare is terrible, just like Obamacare is, because I've experienced my insurance go up numerous times since getting a new job in 2009, and you know, I have Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare. It keeps going up.
All right.
I'm currently paying an extra $5 a week for medical, and my dental went up another $11 a month. And that's up from a previous hike of $3 2 years ago.
Darling, and you have a job, right? You have a job.
Oh, yeah.
And
I work full time.
So your boss subsidizes most of your health insurance?
Yep. Oh, and I forgot to mention, the emergency room fee doubled from $75 to $150, and we went from having $0 deductible to having a $1,000 deductible, which means the second I use my health insurance, I didn't save any money. It actually cost me an extra $270 a year to have more expensive coverage that covers less.
I feel your pain. I want you to know that. And I want to give you another piece of Foxonian advice, okay? I want you to keep that job. I want you to keep that job, if nothing else, for the health insurance. I know it sucks that your premiums are going up and your deductibles are going up, but if you had to pay for your health insurance yourself, let's say you were an electrician, my God, it wouldn't be $11 and $3. It would be, listen to this. I know I'm an old hag compared to you, but $885 a month, and I have a $2,000 deductible. No out-of-network coverage.
That's insanity.
It's just insanity. And I think the solution, really, I'll tell you what the solution is in just a few minutes. You stay tuned to WRKO. Joe, you're on the Carolyn Fox Show. We're filling in for Jeff Kuhner here at WRKO.
Good morning, Carolyn. Thank you very much for taking my call. We're talking a lot about health insurance and how expensive things are. But I think one alternative model for reducing healthcare costs could be a cash model. And if you look at the places like the Surgery Center of Oklahoma, they charge up to 80 to 90% less than nonprofit hospitals and actually turn a profit on the medical procedures that they do. And they take cash or cashier's checks, and I think they now actually take credit cards. And
you are so right.
They contracted with Oklahoma County in Oklahoma and to provide health care for their employees. And in 1 month, they saved $140,000 for the taxpayers.
I love it. I love it. You know, I think you're making a great point, Joe. I think we should get the insurance companies out of the business. No more for-profit insurance companies. I think if there was any way we could go back to a cash system, like before we had health insurance, I think we'd be ahead of the game. How about, yeah, Joe, thank you so much for calling. Hey, John, you're on the Carolyn Fox Show. We're filling in for Jeff Kuhner here at WRKO.
Hi, how you doing?
Oh, I'm terrific. Have you had an experience with health insurance? Do you think it's gotten better or worse?
Oh, much worse. I went from $17 a month to $22.
$17 a month?
No, $1,700 for a family plan to $22.
Oh my God! How many kids do you have? 10?
I have 3 kids, and with this, it doesn't matter how many kids you have. It's the family plan. I was able to get it down to 18.
How'd you do that?
Some of the prescription coverage.
Now, are you self-employed?
I'm self-employed, and they are also requiring me to take a pediatric dental coverage.
They required you.
It's required.
Don't you love?
I'm a dentist.
Oh my gosh!
And I am forced to pay for pediatric.
Oh my
god! And the kicker is, I can't even use it because it's a family.
Because because why?
Because it's immediate family. You can't bill out to an insurance company on your own kids. But yet they're requiring me to have pediatric dental care.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
Oh, and you know what? When you think about, John, how much it costs to make that $2,200, we're talking about after-tax dollars. I mean, you can write it off, but only a small portion of it. And then you have a mortgage. And then before you even wake up in the morning, you're choking by bills.
Yep.
Yeah. It's no wonder.
And that's why our fees are so high in the first place.
That's why what's so high?
The dental fees.
Yeah.
No, just because the government's constantly squeezing and squeezing.
Well, yeah, the dental insurance and malpractice and all that. Thank you so much for calling. Dave, you're on the Carolyn Fox Show. We're filling in for Jeff Kuhner here at WRKO.
Yeah, Carolyn.
Yes, dear.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
Where was it mandated by government before Obamacare that businesses had to supply health care to their employees?
I don't think it was mandated. It all started around World War II as a way to entice workers to, it was a perk. It was a nice thing that businesses could do.
It used to be a benefit.
Correct, exactly.
The benefit would bring in the people that you would want to hire.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So why is it now mandated that businesses, and this law, as far as businesses are concerned, will not go into effect until after the elections? Is that true?
Yes. And you know what? Who knows when it's going to go into effect, because the deadlines keep getting pushed off, and it's just like seat of your pants health insurance, on a whim.
But, I believe that also these CEOs, CFOs of these big hospitals are making big money. And, they're benefiting no matter whether you have health insurance or not. If you don't have health insurance, let me explain something to you. These hospitals have a health pool that will cover most people that don't have health insurance.
That's true, but what happens is this. They give you a standard of coverage. They don't necessarily do everything that they could. If you go to a hospital with no health insurance, and you have something terribly wrong, they'll get you to a point of stabilization.
Right.
But they're not going to give you, let's say you have chest pains and you need a heart transplant. They're not going to do it unless somebody coughs up the money.
Exactly.
And they negotiate and all, but you're not going to get that heart transplant. So, yes, they'll treat you just to make you comfortable. So I appreciate your call, Dave. Yes, thank you very much. Hey, you know what? We got to pay a couple of bills. We're talking about how much we all hate Obamacare. No, not all of it, okay? Not all of it. No,
all of it.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Thank you, Cooksey. For most people, I'm asking you, the radio family, has Obamacare helped you or hurt you like it's hurt me? All right, we're coming up with more conversation and more talk here at WRKO. Howdy do. 7:53 here at WRKO, and probably where you're listening from as well. I'm Carolyn Fox, and I'm filling in for Jeff Kuhner here at Boston's talk station, WRKO. Our number 617-266-6868, 617-266-6868. And I couldn't be more dissatisfied by Obamacare, by Obama on so many levels. The biggest for me is that because of Obamacare, I no longer have a job, okay? So I haven't collected unemployment yet. What I've been doing is, this has been since October 2013, ladies and gentlemen. Thank God I was in the radio business before. And thank God I had another skill that I could fall back on. Because my business was decimated by Obamacare. My health insurance premiums have skyrocketed. As a self-employed person, I'm soon to be paying $885 a month for a single woman's plan. That includes infertility and pregnancy and drug abuse coverage. I don't need any of that. Dude. Bob, you're on the Carolyn Fox Show as we're filling in for Jeff Kuhner here at Boston's talk station. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Great. So tell me what your experience with health insurance has been.
Nothing yet because I'm a public employee, but I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Yep.
But I mentioned this to Jeff quite a while ago. I said, Jeff, you know what? Obama made a verbal contract with you and breached that contract. Why don't you see if you can go after him in court for breach of verbal contract? I mean, what the hell, you know? Why not?
Well, you know, there's word that, he's going to be sued, that Obama is going to be sued. What, by Boehner? Or, I don't know. Somebody said they were going to sue Obama. Boehner said that. All right, so here's the thing.
They should impeach him. Screw this suing him.
Well, you know what? Impeach and schmeech. I think that's more of a pain than it's worth. I think that's just going to bog us down, and we have bigger issues to handle. And well,
all caused by him.
Well, I don't want to go on the record as being the only person to say I agree, but yeah, I agree. A lot of it has to do with his administration, and he's really confusing me. You know, I want to give Obama the benefit of the doubt, but man, his policies are just so confusing to me. I just don't get where he stands on issues or not stands on issues. It's perplexing that a man of his intelligence is just sitting around and doing nothing, but maybe there's a bigger plan that we're not seeing. I'm just putting it out there. Okay? Maybe. Hey, we're talking about
called communism.
Yeah, no, it's not. He's not looking for us to be commies. Steve, you're on the Carolyn Fox Show. Here, we're filling in for Jeff Kuhner here at RKO.
All right. So I think that there are 4 elements to making a decision about insurance.
Okay.
The first is the insurance premium.
Mm-hmm.
The second is the out-of-pocket cost.
Correct.
The third is the deductible, and the fourth would be the Obamacare fine if you don't sign up for a compliant insurance policy. Those, to me, are the 4 things that matter.
And very expensive if you add those mothers up.
Right. So right now I have a company plan, whatever it is, through my employer, which I've yet to see any benefit from. It's costing me what I consider to be a ridiculous amount. With the deductible, I've yet to see actually the insurance kick in.
Yeah, I know, it's
so
crazy. It's crazy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here's my thought. Why not just say,
screw it?
I don't need the company policy anymore. Why not just sign up for a non-compliant policy that is not covered under Obamacare, take the risk of getting a fine, but since the fine is only assessed against a tax refund, just calculate your taxes differently with additional deductions so that there's no refund at the end of the year, and screw them.
Well, a lot of people are doing what you're talking about, Steve. A lot of people are opting for plans that may not meet the qualifications of the Affordable Care Act. And when you do the math, it behooves you in some instances to just take those plans, pay the fine because, as you said, when you look at the insurance premium, the out-of-pocket expense, the deductible, and the fine, you're into it. If you have a family, you're into it for what, $10,000, $20,000 already. You know what I'm saying?
I do. So why not play the game?
You know what? I agree with you. I think the whole system should be blown up. That's how I feel. All right, Steve. Thank you so much for calling. Deb, we're going to try to squeeze you in here. Welcome to the Carolyn Fox Show. We're filling in for Jeff Kuhner here at WRKO.
Good morning, Carolyn. A breath of fresh air. You're delightful. I'm sure it's going to go off with a job. Hang in there.
Deb, you are very kind. Thank you. Well, tell me about your thoughts on health insurance. Has Obamacare helped you or hurt you?
Listen, I've been a registered nurse for over 30 years, caring for the sick and the elderly.
Oh, God bless you.
Thank you very much, and I cannot afford health insurance. So I will tell you all this. Do some education, learn how to stay healthy, be proactive so that you don't get sick. And we have to collapse the system. It's been broken for a very long time, for decades. And just real quick, this is a economic ploy by His Highness the King.
The Highness the King.
To collapse the financial structure of the country. And we have to wake up, and we got to wake up fast.
I love what you're saying. God bless you. All right, I am Carolyn Fox. The number here is 617-266-6868. We're going to switch around and talk about Jeff Kuhner coming up right after this.
News at the top and bottom, talk in between.
Executing assigned host duties flawlessly because I can't do wrong.
This is AM 680 WRKO, Boston.